Did you know that China's economy grew by only 1.9% in 2023, the lowest rate since 1976? That's right. The world's second largest economy is facing a serious crisis that could have far-reaching consequences for the rest of the world. But what caused this crisis? And what does it mean for China and the world? In this video, we will explore the causes and consequences of China's economic crisis, how it affects its domestic and international policies, and what it means for the rest of the world. We will also look at some of the possible solutions and scenarios for the future of China and the global economy. Whether you are a business person, a student, or a curious citizen, this video will help you understand one of the most important issues of our time. Now let's get started. The causes of China's economic crisis. The first thing we need to understand is what caused China's economic crisis. China's economic crisis is the result of a combination of factors that have been building up for years. Some of the main factors are the trade war with the U.S. Since 2018, China and the U.S. have been engaged in a trade war that has imposed tariffs on hundreds of billions of dollars worth of goods. This has reduced China's exports, increased its costs, and disrupted its supply chains. The trade war has also escalated into a broader rivalry over technology, security, and human rights, creating more uncertainty and tension for China's economy. The COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic, which originated in China in late 2019, has had a devastating impact on China's economy. The lockdowns, travel restrictions, and social distancing measures have reduced consumer spending, business activity, and investment. The pandemic has also exposed China's weaknesses in public health, governance, and transparency, and damaged its reputation and trust in the international community. The demographic decline. China's population is aging rapidly due to its one-child policy and low birth rate. This means that China has fewer workers, consumers, and innovators, and more dependents, retirees, and healthcare costs. China's working-age population peaked in 2015 and has been shrinking ever since. By 2050, China is expected to have more than 300 million people over the age of 65, accounting for more than a quarter of its total population. The environmental challenges. China's rapid economic growth has come at a high environmental cost. China is the world's largest emitter of greenhouse gases and faces serious problems of air pollution, water scarcity, soil degradation, and biodiversity loss. These environmental issues not only harm China's health, quality of life, and natural resources, but also pose risks to its economic stability, social harmony, and international cooperation. The debt problem. China's economy relies heavily on debt, especially from the state-owned banks and enterprises. China's total debt reached 335% of its GDP in 2020, up from 197% in 2008. Much of this debt is used to finance inefficient and unprofitable projects, such as infrastructure, real estate, and industrial overcapacity. This creates a vicious cycle of rising debt, low productivity, and financial fragility. The overcapacity issue. China's economy suffers from a chronic problem of overcapacity, or excess production capacity, in many sectors, such as steel, coal, cement, and solar panels. This is due to China's investment-driven growth model, which prioritizes quantity over quality and encourages wasteful and speculative spending. Overcapacity leads to lower profits, higher inventories, lower prices, and more pollution. Now that we have seen the causes of China's economic crisis, let's look at the consequences. The consequences of China's economic crisis. China's economic crisis has significant impacts on its social, political, and security aspects. Some of the main impacts are the rising inequality. China's economic crisis has widened the gap between the rich and the poor, the urban and the rural, and the coastal and the inland regions. China's Gini coefficient, a measure of income inequality, reached 0.465 in 2020, higher than the global average of 0.44. China's inequality not only undermines its economic efficiency and social justice, but also fuels discontent, resentment, and unrest among its people. The social unrest. The economic crisis in China has increased the social unrest in the country, as millions of people face unemployment, poverty, and hardship. China's official unemployment rate rose to 6.2%, the highest level since 2002. However, this figure does not include the millions of migrant workers, informal workers, and self-employed workers who lost their jobs or income due to the crisis. China's social unrest is manifested in various forms, such as protests, strikes, petitions, lawsuits, and online activism, demanding better wages, working conditions, social welfare, and rights. The crackdown on dissent. China's economic crisis has also prompted the Chinese government to tighten its control over the society, media, and internet, and to suppress any dissent or criticism of its policies and performance. China's President Xi Jinping has consolidated his power and authority and eliminated any potential rivals or challengers. China has also intensified its censorship, surveillance, and propaganda, and cracked down on human rights defenders, hacktivists, journalists, lawyers, and academics. The assertiveness in the region. The economic crisis in China has also driven China to become more assertive and aggressive in its neighborhood, especially in the South China Sea, the East China Sea, the Taiwan Strait, and the border with India. China has increased its military presence, activities, and capabilities in these areas and challenged the sovereignty, interests, and security of its neighbors. China has also used its economic leverage, such as the Belt and Road Initiative, to expand its influence and pressure its partners. The rivalry with the U.S. China's economic crisis has also heightened its rivalry and competition with the U.S., the world's largest economy and superpower. China and the U.S. have clashed over various issues, such as trade, technology, human rights, security, and global governance. China and the U.S. have also engaged in a strategic competition for allies, markets, resources, and norms, creating a new Cold War-like situation. After discussing the consequences of China's economic crisis, let's see what it means for the world. The implications of China's economic crisis for the world. China's economic crisis has profound implications for the world, as China is a major player in the global economy, trade, security, and governance. Some of the main implications are the disruption of supply chains. China's economic crisis has disrupted the global supply chains, as China is the world's largest exporter and importer of goods and services. China's slowdown, lockdowns, and trade disputes have affected the production, distribution, and consumption of various products, such as electronics, automobiles, clothing, and medical equipment. This has caused shortages, delays, and price hikes for many businesses and consumers around the world. The shift of alliances. This economic crisis has also reshaped the global alliances and alignments, as many countries have to adjust their relations with China and the U.S. Some countries, such as Japan, Australia, India, and Vietnam, have strengthened their ties with the U.S. and each other to counter China's rise and aggression. Other countries, such as Russia, Iran, North Korea, and Pakistan, have deepened their cooperation with China to balance the U.S. and its allies. Still, other countries, such as the European Union, Canada, and South Korea, have tried to maintain a balanced and pragmatic approach to benefit from both China and the U.S. The competition for resources. China's economic crisis has also increased the global competition for resources such as energy, minerals, water, and food. China is the world's largest consumer and importer of many resources, and its demand and supply have a significant impact on the global markets and prices. China's economic crisis has also pushed China to seek more resources from abroad, especially from Africa, Latin America, and Central Asia, to fuel its growth and development. This has created conflicts and tensions with other resource-hungry countries, such as the U.S., India, and Japan. The challenge to the international order. The economic crisis in China has also posed a challenge to the international order, which is based on the rules, norms, and institutions that govern the global affairs. China has challenged the legitimacy and effectiveness of the existing order, which is largely shaped by the U.S. and its allies, and advocated for a more multipolar and diverse order that reflects China's interests and values. China has also undermined or violated some of the key principles and rules of the order, such as human rights, democracy, free trade, and peaceful resolution of disputes. China's economic crisis is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon that has serious implications for China and the world. China's economic crisis is caused by a combination of internal and external factors that have affected its growth, stability, and development. It has also impacted its social, political, and security aspects, and influenced its domestic and international policies. It has affected the global economy, trade, security, and governance, and created challenges and opportunities for the rest of the world. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something new and interesting. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.